a lot of developers think that building like 500 little mini SaaS, micro SaaS applications is going to make them a bunch of money. And the unfortunate reality is I think that's really not true. And that's basically because you lack focus. And focus is one of the most crucial elements in basically making anything big work. And if you look at the people who've done that, basically they've usually had one thing that works out. And that one thing like makes, most of their money. And so I will say, indie hacking, maybe it makes you better at building apps, but it's not the thing that's going to like in and of itself, the idea of trying to create multiple income streams and stuff like that's not the thing that's going to make you the amount of money that you think it is. And I say this because I used to have that mindset as well. For context, I've run a software development company for the past almost 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years. But before that, I spent 5 years, like just trying stuff, loads of stuff. Part of the stuff that I tried, at some point I thought indie hacking was, the way to go, like just trying to build little micro applications and stuff like that. I never really went through with it because I realized that building little micro applications, like it's a lot of work to build a lot of them. And then the problem is promotion. Like people don't understand, like building a product in and of itself does not just make you a business that's going to spit out money. You need to promote people. You need to distribute. My company is not bigger because there are not enough humans on the planet that know about the damn thing. Like it cannot be bigger because people do not know about it. And that is the same thing for whatever product you build. And I think there's this thing which is like, if you build in public and if you have a Twitter audience and you make a product and it goes well, like you see the indie hackers who are successful, they have audiences. That's the part that most people miss. The success is not in making the applications. Success is in distribution. Distribution is where you win. And if you look at the guys on Twitter who do it, that's what they have. They have an audience. They have somebody to pass it on to, and they produce little indie applications that, their followers can use. And it's a perfectly fine way to go about things. But you cannot neglect the part about distribution. Indie hacking, that part of it does not make you any money. It's the marketing that does. Marketing 100%. And a lot of developers neglect that part. I know this because when I started this development company, I basically went into it thinking, okay, well, I know how to do some engineering. Why don't I help other people do this? And I'll have a business and I'll grow it and, happy days. And I'll hit 100K a month and it was very naive, of course. But the main thing that I didn't realize was that I was stepping into a business game. And fundamentally, like engineering is such a small fraction of what I have to do. And I didn't see that for a long time. And distribution is a painful game to play, especially because you have no idea how to do it when you're going to business for the first time. And you have to play a losing game, which is, I have no idea how to do this, probably nobody to help me, pretty limited resources, and I need to make money because otherwise I'm going under, right? And, it's a stressful situation. That's what makes business hard. It's not the physical actions that, business isn't like a heavy rock that you have to lift. It's the mental burden of the uncertainty, the risk, all that stuff, not knowing what the hell's next. I'm making more money now than I have ever. And I've made more in the past, maybe 6 months or whatever, than I have in the entirety of this business before. And still, I feel incredibly pretty lost. Not lost. No, I wouldn't say lost. I have direction, but incompetent, basically. I just feel incompetent. It's confusing. But anyway, I think I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. But my main point was still that, you need to focus. It's only because I decided that I was going to focus on this one thing that I actually finally made it into something. But I tried co-founding an edtech company. I was there for about a year. I tried doing some freelancing. I didn't stick to things. And I thought, I'm going to try and do all the things and be here and be there, be everywhere. That doesn't, it's extraordinarily hard when you have limited resources. And so you have to focus and pick on one thing that's actually going to work. And so if you want to make money from products as a developer, then, you need to figure out the one that has product market fit. Indie hacking can help you find product market fit, I suppose, but in and of itself, like it's gonna be a very painfully slow process, because most of the time you build a little application and nobody's gonna use it. You need the distribution. The distribution is the part that people forget. They don't realize, like, you make an application, there are not enough humans. Like, you have to make something so extraordinary that one human tells like 3 or 4 others. And if you think about like how lazy, distracted, everything that normal people are, people don't care about what you do, right? So the number of people who will tell other people about your product, unless it's something that makes their life so incredibly better, right? Something so revolutionary that is like, oh my God, I didn't have this before, I have this now. I could never go back to not having it. In that case, I'm going to tell all my friends about it. But if that's not the case, you're not going to grow, because people don't know about it fundamentally. Like, you cannot make money from something that people don't use. Yeah. Anyway, I think this is such a big trap for so many developers, especially like on Twitter, tech Twitter, that kind of stuff. You see so many people who build a bunch of stuff and they're trying to building in public. I think is really good. But just be aware that like you have to focus on one project. If some project starts to get traction, you focus on that and build distribution and make it better and iterate again and again and again. Because the other part of things is like, as well, let's say you have 5 different projects and you're like a little one-man team. If somebody else picks one of those projects that does well and they just focus on that and your attention is split between 5 others, who's going to win? The guy, one guy will take you out of business on this one because he focused on this, that. Another one will take this one, another one. Like that's how, and then you're a jack of all trades, master of none. And so they're the 5 other guys who are masters of something will put you out of business, basically. Yeah, I think those thoughts are a little bit scattered, but fundamentally, just like people really struggle with that idea of trying to stick to one thing because there's so much opportunity. I think that's one of the worst things about like social media, is that it overstimulates you with possibilities. I speak from experience. Like I really limit the amount that I consume, because as somebody who's ambitious as well, like there's so much going on. There's so many people doing great ideas and building great apps, great things. And if I look at them, it becomes too many things that I'm like trying to see. The reality is none of those things help me. You can build, there are so many $1 million businesses, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion businesses in so many different industries. There's no one that's better than the other. It's just you have to stick to something for long enough. And like, it's really hard because you get flooded with the stimuli on what you could do. Why don't you do this business? Why don't you try this? Hey, listen, there's actually this guy who's doing this and he's making all this money. So it's just like, yeah. So I get it. I get like that want to do a lot of things, but the most progress I have ever made was when I decided to stick to one business and drop everything else. And within that business, the most progress I have ever made in this business that I have been running for the past 2.5 years, the most progress is when I stick to one thing, and I focus, and that it helps me get to the next stage. And even today, I'm still struggling with it, and I'm like, okay, how do I get things off of my plate? How do I focus? How do I limit the number of things that I do? Fewer and fewer things. Make my life simple, and focus on the right things. Focus will take you so much further than just like pure hard work, in my opinion. Anyway, all right. If you haven't already, do subscribe, because apparently 85% of people who watch my videos don't subscribe, so that'd be nice. But yeah, I'm headed to Lisbon today, which is nice. Gonna be there for a week, just for family stuff, and yeah, working a lot of outreach at the minute. Outreach to like very highly personalized outreach, to basically just make some friends here in London, and hopefully have a bunch of meetings when I'm back. That is pretty much my plan at the minute. Also, a little bonus for anybody who's watched all the way to the end. It turns out this little MagSafe charger thing is such a great replacement for a phone stand. So I hooked it up on my computer. My camera's really dirty, hold on. So I hooked it up onto my laptop here, and I put the cable behind, and I hung it, and then I like my phone attaches to this thing, and it works really well. I have recorded every single day for some 200 days, something like that, and not once have I invested in any kit for recording. I just use this phone stand sometimes that I have of mine. Oh my god, I can't be bothered to get it out. But this little MagSafe charger is brilliant. It's really great. Highly recommend if you like putting your phone in a position, like you can hang this anywhere and attach your phone to it. It's great.